Hello and welcome back to TNWKS, the Now We Know show, the show where we discuss a topic of interest and by the end we will have learnt something new and hopefully you will too. I'm Zak.
And I'm Buzz.
And today we are celebrating the 69th anniversary of Godzilla. If you enjoy the Now We Know Show podcast, support Zak Wylde Productions on Patreon or join our members on YouTube for early access, ad-free content and exclusive episodes.
And here we are once again in the studio, a year on, celebrating Godzilla Day 2023.
That's right, and it is the 69th anniversary of Godzilla.
Huzzah!
So, do you remember what we did last time for Godzilla Day?
Yeah, last year we had Jack in the studio. Unfortunately, Jack can't make it with us this year, but we did a little feature on watching a different movie from a different Godzilla era, if I'm correct.
Yes, do you remember which one you did?
No, I can't off the top of my head.
Okay, so...
Did it have Mechagodzilla in it?
No, it didn't.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so...
I can't remember.
Jack did...
So many to choose from. Come
yes,
on,
there
you're
are.
putting me on the spot here, man.
Jack did the original Godzilla from the Showa era.
Yep.
We had a massive discussion about that.
Yep.
I talked about the Heisei era, specifically Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah.
Okay.
And then you talked about...
It must be the legendary, no?
No, you talked about the Millennium series with Godzilla Final Wars.
Oh, yes.
With the guy with the moustache.
Mr. Moustache. I can't think of his name. He was the captain.
Captain Gordon.
Captain Gordon
of
the
Gotengo.
The Gotengo ship. That's it.
So
Katana.
This year we've done something similar, but
well, we didn't want to be the same. Come on, we can't be samey.
It is a good year to be a Godzilla fan.
Well,
we have so much to talk about in this episode.
Well, that's the thing. It is the Now We Know show, so we need to learn stuff about more fresh, new stuff about Godzilla.
Before we kick into that,
of course,
it's time for
I nearly forgot.
You guessed it.
Weird and Wonderful!
So, I thought I would stay on the topic of Godzilla for this Weird and Wonderful.
You managed to find something weird and wonderful about Godzilla.
I have found something weird and wonderful about Godzilla.
That is topical, okay.
It is topical. So, for this Weird and Wonderful story, I'm going to talk about Godzilla versus Bagan.
Who's Bagan?
So, Godzilla versus Bagan was originally penned in 1991.
Okay.
But that then became The Return of Godzilla in 1984.
Okay.
So, it then came back to the forefront of Godzilla, supposedly for the final entry of the Heisei era.
Mm-hmm.
But that then became Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
Aha.
Destroyer!
So is Bagan like Destroyer?
Would you like to see a picture of Bagan?
Yeah, I can.
He has appeared.
It's a he, is it?
Well,
it's an it.
It's a monster.
Come on, we live in 2023. Come on, it could have any gender under the sun. It's a rainbow monster.
Here's Bagan.
Okay, Bagan. He looks a bit like Godzilla, but very funky.
Yeah,
it's got horns that look like Tim Curry out of Legend. It's got a nose. I think that's a nose that looks like a can opener. It's got feet that are way too big for it. It's actually got like veins as if it's on steroids on its thighs. And there you go. Has it got wings? Yeah, it looks like it's got very tiny wings.
So in the movie, it was going to take 3 different forms.
Okay. And
in its final form, it was going to combine into this big monster.
Right. Well, that's not being funny, but that's kind of reminiscent of what you've seen in feature films in not too distant past, like Pacific Rim, where the kaiju in that join up to make a bigger one.
True. I didn't think of that.
If it had done that, would that have been kind of like the first time that would have been done?
Possibly, yes. And I think the main reason it didn't happen and how Bagan ended up looking like this kind of horned demon monster is because the budget would not allow for such.
You forgot to say it on steroids.
On steroids?
Horned demon monster on steroids.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
The budget wouldn't allow it.
Anyway, we did see a similar kind of evolution in Destroyer,
Okay.
where it was kind of like a crab monster that then turned into like a small flying creature.
Okay.
That then obviously they all combined into the massive kind of demon creature, which, if you add wings to Bagan,
Well, Bagan's got tiny little wings. Wee little wings, I think.
it would kind of look similar.
Okay.
It would kind of look similar.
So they kind of made the film.
Would you like to hear Bagan's roar?
Yeah, well, there you go. They went as far as giving it a roar.
Now, it's, I believe, from a video game.
Go on then.
Okay.
Don't keep us in suspenders.
Here we go. This is the demon beast Bagan's roar.
Not as impressive as Godzilla.
No. But what do you think of that?
It's a bit lackluster, to be honest.
To me, it kind of sounds, because I'm pretty hot to trot on all this Godzilla stuff, if I say so myself.
Well, you are our specialist.
It sounds like almost Guiron from the Gamera films.
Okay. It kind of sounded like dustbins being emptied.
Like a
rolled
grunt.
backwards.
Little grunt.
Yeah. So that's weird and wonderful, isn't it?
That was weird and wonderful.
The fact that they had a movie that never actually went to...
Yes, and to be honest, I'm actually quite happy that it became Godzilla vs. Destroyer.
Okay.
Do you reckon Bagan is a worthy opponent for Godzilla in the future?
Could be. It looks a bit weird. Maybe it needs a bit of an update. It can't. Surely the trouble with Bagan that you just showed me.
Yeah.
And if you and I did hopefully describe it well enough for you guys out there listening land. His thighs are so oversized and veiny that, let's face it, if he's trying to run towards anything like attacking Godzilla, he's just going to get serious chafing.
More of a waddle like Shin Godzilla.
He's going to waddle and he's going to get serious chafing.
Chafing?
Chafing. And no wonder he's angry. Maybe that's why his thighs are red. I don't know. It's stupid. Maybe you should see a physician.
So that rounds up our weird and wonderful story this week with Bagan.
Which is very topical because it's Godzilla.
So, on the topic of Godzilla, funnily enough, you asked me before we came into the studio, how is Godzilla Day celebrated?
Well, that's right, because obviously last year we went over the movies that we watched in order to kind of do our own little Godzilla celebration and tribute to the all things Godzilla. But I just wondered, this year, how do people celebrate it around the world? Because, I mean, obviously Godzilla is kind of part of Japanese culture these days, so they probably go all out on Godzilla Day and things.
I mean, hey, they've got a Godzilla hotel.
Yeah,
they've got a zip line with you can go into Godzilla's mouth.
There you go. So Japan, is obviously going to be the mainstay. But I just wondered, how do people around the world celebrate Godzilla Day?
I looked into this, and there doesn't seem to actually be any official way of celebrating Godzilla Day.
Oh, you mean a particular way of celebrating?
Yes.
Apart from watching the movies, maybe.
Celebration-wise or event-wise, the main one does seem to be in Chicago.
Okay.
And that is actually held in July, not November.
I did look at a little bit because I was curious myself, and I did see a few websites that are sort of saying celebrate Godzilla 2023 because they've got a new movie coming out, or it might have just come out, which is
just about to come out.
Yeah.
And that is Godzilla Minus One.
That's the one.
Which we are going to be talking about in this episode a
I want
bit
to know
later.
what the minus one means.
We can theorise.
Okay, so people are celebrating Godzilla Day, and I dare say maybe having themed Godzilla food. I don't know.
Yes, I think
instead of baguettes, they could have bagans.
I think
bagans full of salami.
I think the best way to celebrate Godzilla Day, maybe even in its simplest form, is to watch a Godzilla movie.
Well, yeah, of course. Well, I'm going to jump in here because we're actually recording this podcast on Halloween.
Yes.
And what are people going to be doing right now? As they're all going to be watching movies to celebrate Halloween.
Yes.
So there you go.
Of course you're going to watch a Godzilla movie.
That's what you're going to do.
So, this is actually going to come out the day before Godzilla Day.
Yay!
So we would love to know which Godzilla movies you are actually watching this year.
Yeah, what's your
please comment below.
Are you going to watch your favourite, or are you going to say, hey, I'm not going to watch my favourite, I'm going to watch one I just haven't watched for a long time?
Godzilla originally came out on the 3rd of November 1954. The G-Fest that happened this year in Chicago was the 28th G-Fest event.
Right.
So,
G-Fest.
G-Fest.
We're going to go
It was
G-Fest.
actually really weird because I searched that and it actually came up with something like a car thing in Silverstone as well, which was really weird.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse.
Could have been
Oh
worse.
no! Oh no!
You never know what you're going to get these days when you search on the Google.
Anyway, so G-Fest is held in Chicago in July, so that will be the 29th one next year.
Okay.
And it's the 69th anniversary of Godzilla this year.
Huzzah!
So, as we did last year, we're going to be visiting a couple of the movies from the Godzilla franchise.
Okay.
For starters, from the Showa era, we have the film you watched.
Yes, which is Ibra, isn't it? Godzilla. No, what's it called? I can't remember.
The movie you watched was Ibra Horror of the Deep.
Yes, Ibra Horror of the Deep.
Godzilla versus the Sea Monster.
No, it was definitely Ibra Horror of the Deep.
It's the same thing. It's just an alternate title.
I know, I'm joking.
That came out in 1966 by John Fukuda.
I know, and I again, it's one of those ones that sticks out in my mind from my childhood because growing up, end of the '60s and through the '70s, you know, when the Godzilla movies kind of started, and I've probably said this before, but they started to eke their way onto Sunday afternoon TV. When you only had BBC One, BBC Two, and ITV, and back then a black and white television in our house anyway. These were like crazy movies to watch because
Well, it's Suitmation, isn't it?
yeah, you're watching a movie which you think the quality of the TV image probably it's nothing like watching a 4K TV these days.
No.
It's probably more like watching a 4K TV on a normal terrestrial channel, which is really grainy.
Yeah.
That's really awful, isn't it? In black and white. Yes.
Oh, so you saw it in black and white
I've
originally?
seen it in black and white, yeah, because that's why a lot of these movies in my noodle. For those people who don't know what a noodle is, that's a brain. Okay, so
A brain.
A brain.
Do you have one of those?
In my noodle, I kind of have memories in black and white. You see?
Okay.
Because you kind of watch things in black and white, even though the world is colour. That's why when you're watching like war movies and stuff, you kind of think that it's all in black and white, and then you see American movies and they had colour cameras. It suddenly puts a whole new aspect on it. Anyway, watching Godzilla versus Ibra Horror of the Deep.
Yep.
Got it right. Okay?
Yeah.
And not the other title you said, the Sea Monster.
Godzilla versus the Sea Monster.
Okay. But watching that, it was just like absolutely crazy because, we can go through the story plotline synopsis if you like, but just that iconic scene where Godzilla is on the beach and Ibra is in the ocean, and then they're having this kind of like tennis match.
Volleyball.
Volleyball with a rock, which is just...
It's inspired. It's inspired.
It is. And you're seeing this as a kid, and there's nothing else that you've ever seen that touches anything like that.
It's a giant dinosaur versus a giant lobster.
Yeah. We would have seen dinosaur movies,
But not Godzilla.
But not Godzilla, where a dinosaur compared to Godzilla is like a mouse.
Yeah.
So it was absolutely amazing. Anyway, so with a quick, you have to fill in if I can't.
Oh yeah. I can do this. I can do this.
But you got a young man who, for some reason, his brother's gone to sea and gone missing.
Yep.
And his brother wants to go to sea
to find
search for him.
Yep.
But I go, okay, watching the movie, you go, okay, you haven't really got any reference to where he is.
No.
He got lost at sea.
Yeah.
It's a big thing. The sea is big, especially if you're in Japan, because we're probably talking the Pacific Ocean. But he was determined. You got to give him that.
Yeah.
And trouble is, he hasn't got a boat.
No.
Okay, so you got a movie, and you go, okay, so how do we get this lad who has lost his brother at sea, and he hasn't got a boat, and he needs a boat to search for his brother who's lost somewhere.
I'm loving the wording here. The wording is amazing.
It's like he's got to. So how does the movie script get around this? So he can get a boat.
Yeah.
He goes into a dance competition.
Of course.
So it's a dance
To win a boat.
To win a boat. I mean, and so he's determined to win this dance competition with his girlfriend so they can win the boat. It's a crazy idea. Who came up with that? I don't know. So they can go to sea and find his brother. It's just crazy.
Just skip it along a bit. It doesn't work out for him, the dance competition.
Unfortunately, he doesn't win.
So he meets up with some other people from the dance competition, and they go to like a marina.
To get a boat.
To get a boat.
Which they do.
They find that there's actually somebody else on board.
Yep. I think, if I recall, they think it's the owner, don't they?
Yes, but it's somebody on the run.
That's it. He's got a bag of suitcase with him. Hasn't
They
he?
decide to stay the night, at which point the guy who's going to look for his brother steals the boat with everyone on it.
Yep. So they're all going to look for his brother now.
They're all going to look for his brother,
with an odd man with a briefcase.
who's obviously a thief.
A thief,
He's a
yeah.
thief. To cut a long story short, he's a thief.
Yeah.
So they head off into
To the ocean.
The ocean to look for his brother.
Got loads of real great directions on this one.
But then they come into some turbulence.
there's a storm.
And there's a storm, and then there's a giant claw that comes
which
out
is
of the ocean.
absolutely amazing. It's a giant. It's like something out of a Doug McClure movie. It's like this giant claw. That's all it needed.
The boat crashes. They wash up on an island.
They do.
But they find that they are not alone.
No, because there are some bad people on the island.
Who are the bad people?
The bad
It's
people.
an evil organisation called the Red Bamboo.
That's it, Red Bamboo. That would make a good record, actually. Red Bamboo.
The Red Bamboo. That's just the bamboo song.
The bamboo song. No more of the bamboo song.
Anyway, so the Red Bamboo
Yeah, the Red Bamboo.
operate on this
You can't say
island.
Red Bamboo with that. Red Bamboo.
And it's protected by Ibra.
Yeah, so the Ibra, the monster of the deep,
Yep.
kind of patrols the water around the island so nobody can get near it.
Yeah.
But they need to get their boats in and out of the island. What are these bad people up to, by the way? I can't remember.
I don't know, evil
Evil
stuff.
Anyways, but they have the juice, don't they, from
The yellow liquid
yellow liquid that they produce from fruits.
on the island.
And they have a ship that's got like a sprinkler system on it.
Yep.
And as they leave the island, they sprinkle the stuff, and Ibra doesn't go near them. That's the trick, you see.
Yeah.
So they can get in and out.
So the people that go searching for their brother
Yes.
discover Godzilla in a cave.
Yes. Oh, they get being chased by guards or something.
And they do get chased by guards, and
Yeah.
they decide the best plan of action is to wake Godzilla up
with electricity.
with electricity, which is actually a call to the original script,
Yes.
which was going to feature,
God, it's Godzilla. He's Godzilla. No, King Kong.
yes, which is really weird,
It is.
because that was originally going to be a sequel to King Kong versus Godzilla.
Well, you're going to have King Kong versus Ibra, Horror of the Deep.
Yes, you
Yay.
were. But they thought it would sell better if
It
Godzilla was in it.
So anyway, so they wake him up with electricity. Godzilla wakes up. Yay!
The subsequent battle ensues.
With Ibra.
Yes, they discover... So somebody gets caught on a weather balloon at one point and flies off to another island where Mothra is. And then they...
and the twins.
And yeah, the twins.
The singing twins.
And they come to save all the slaves and stuff in a big net. Anyway,
Oh yes, Mothra lifts all the slaves.
there is also another
It's
notable
very complicated, listeners.
fight in it between Godzilla and the giant condor.
And yes, the giant condor. Who could have forgotten the giant condor?
Can you remember the giant condor?
Yeah, just about the giant condor. I watched this a couple of weeks ago. So
Yeah.
I've been to bed since then.
This is a shout out to the Criterion collection, by the way. That was an amazing restoration. Thank you very much.
Anyway, the giant condor.
The giant condor flaps around, gets annihilated by Godzilla, and yes, basically it all ends up that Godzilla has a climactic battle.
with Ibra in the sea, and it's like massive, big punch-up fight.
Everyone escapes in the giant net that Mothra is carrying, and the island explodes.
Don't you forget the fight?
The fight. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
He
skipping.
pulls
I'm
Ibra's
skipping.
claws off.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
starts kind of like, yeah, I'm clapping these together like maracas, because it's like I've just destroyed a gigantic.
A gigantic.
Well, that's the word for it, gigantic. It's even bigger than gigantic. If you've got a gigantic lobster, it's gigantic, isn't it? It's like crazy, but everybody survives at the end of the day.
So they take it and Godzilla.
Apart from the red bamboo.
Yeah, and well, Ibra does swim away.
Okay,
Does swim
without
away
his claws.
without his claws.
Well,
And
lobsters can regrow them,
the island then
even gigantic ones.
the island then explodes. Cue the end of the movie.
Ta-da!
There we are.
That was a good sum.
Ibra Horror from the Deep.
Yeah, that was good. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's fun.
It's interesting, really, because a lot of people don't get on with like that stage of the Godzilla movies. Like that one, Son of Godzilla as well, which I consider
Son
to
of
be
Godzilla's
awesome.
hilarious. It's hilarious, especially when you get those scenes where he's having his tail stepped on. He's
Now-
starting to blow smoke rings.
I really,
Because that's got the praying mantis, isn't it?
yeah, I really can't understand why people don't
You do
get
a
on
better
with it.
impression of those, Mick. That's the one.
Anyway, I don't.
I'm in the studio with a gigantic.
Gigantic praying mantis.
That's it.
I'm not quite sure why people don't get on with those particular movies.
Well, that's
Maybe it's the kind of island setting that kind of is a bit jarring for people.
I have no idea. But we live on an
We
island.
love it. We love
Yes,
Ebra Horror from the
they're
Deep,
fun.
and it deserves your attention
So
if you
anyway,
haven't
that
seen
was
it.
my movie for this year.
So, for my movie, I watched...
Because I didn't watch it with you. You watched it
No,
yourself.
no. I watched Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, directed by Masaki Tezuka.
Here, say that when you got cold. All right. Oh,
So this is skipping through the Heisei era to the Millennium series.
right.
So this was the second film in that particular run of
Okay.
films. And we do have a
I was going to say...
figure in here today.
I kind of recognise Megaguirus. And
Yeah.
you've got a figure. I've just nicked it.
Yep.
And it's like, ooh, what brand is this? Is it Bandai?
Bandai. It's
Bandai.
carded as well.
Carded. Oh, that's the amazing thing when it comes to these figures.
So if you
If people don't, if people estimate the franchise of Godzilla,
Mm-hmm.
when you get these figures that come out,
yeah,
they are so sought after.
Yeah.
They can run into hundreds.
Yeah.
Can't they?
yeah,
You
they
know.
can.
Anyway, I'm diverse. What's the movie about? Come on.
So, okay, this is probably again very underappreciated.
What year?
2000.
2000.
This is very underappreciated in my opinion.
Okay.
Because everyone seems to always talk about the other ones.
Okay.
Like last year we talked about Final Wars, which is obviously the 50th anniversary.
Okay.
But this one
Yep.
it kind of goes by the wayside. Nobody tends to really talk about it. So that's
Okay.
why
I noticed you brought the DVD in.
I did.
I'm having a look.
So the plot revolves around Godzilla, and the Japanese forces want to come up with a new way to defeat Godzilla once and for all.
All right. Instead of trying to shoot him, you would have thought they're always trying to shoot him with tanks.
Yeah. So, as a direct sequel to the original, not taking into consideration the other ones,
Okay.
the government's plan to get rid of Godzilla
Yep.
is a very out there concept.
Okay.
Shoot him
Yeah.
with
Yep.
a black hole.
Okay, as you would do. Not any trouble can come of that, can it? You know, forget the Hadron Collider, the CERN Hadron Collider, you know, who's trying to discover accelerated particles. They're just going to design a machine that can shoot black holes.
A man-made black hole.
Man-made a black hole. And what I was just about to say, I presume that they want to suck Godzilla off
Sorry?
to somewhere else.
I know we're celebrating Godzilla Day, but that's a step too far. That's a step too far.
I'm assuming that this black hole is meant to suck Godzilla to somewhere else.
Yes. I think it says on the back.
Sorry, get carried away now.
It will trap Godzilla for eternity, okay?
I'm crying. Godzilla's trapped in his own black hole.
So,
It's like the Uzlan bird.
from a test shot
Okay.
of the black hole,
What did they shoot it at?
a forest,
Oh, great! Thanks for increasing global warming.
a strange dragonfly-like creature emerges
Yep, which is obviously
in the dead of night. No, it's not. It's
No,
not.
it's not.
It is,
It is
as described on the back of the box, a meganula.
a meganula.
Yes. So these are small fly type things.
Okay,
Really like a large bird.
and they come out of the black hole.
Comes out of the black hole carrying an egg.
What happened to the black hole?
It disappeared.
Oh, right, it disappeared.
It's only a brief black hole.
Oh, right. It's just...
So it brings an egg
Yep.
through
With
with it
Okay, from wherever it's come
from wherever it's appeared from,
Okay.
and slowly more and more of these meganula start terrorizing
The local
the
populace.
local populace.
I feel sorry for Japan. They have terrible trouble with these things.
Funnily enough, the meganula are like an evolved version of the meganulon, which are like the non-flying form of the insect,
Okay.
which originally appeared in the original Rodan film from 1956.
Okay. Righty ho.
It's fun. It's cool.
Okay,
It's
okay,
cool. It's Godzilla
okay.
themed.
So what do these eggs all hatch out of?
They decide to try and absorb Godzilla's energy.
Okay. Well, who does? The people?
The
or
meganula.
The meganula.
Whilst the
I
humans,
hope the listeners are following.
whilst the humans are trying to shoot Godzilla the black hole
Okay.
on a kind of a deserted island, which
Okay.
is a pretty cool fight because it's more like a swarm versus Godzilla.
Okay.
And
meanwhile, humans are trying to shoot him with a black hole.
yes,
Okay.
which unfortunately doesn't work out for the humans.
Okay. What happens?
Well, they miss.
Oh, they miss. Oh damn! Where's the black hole gone?
Some of the Meganula escape
Okay.
with some of Godzilla's absorbed energy.
Dun dun dun.
They inject that energy into the egg. The egg then grows
Yep.
into Megaguirus, which is kind of like a Godzilla hybrid
Okay.
of the two.
Okay.
And subsequently, the two fight.
Okay. What happens to the Megaluli?
They all die.
Oh,
They all die
That's handy, Harry.
to kind of create
Yeah,
this
right, so they
super
sacrifice themselves,
crazy big
beast
beast
thing.
with kind of pincer claws. It's kind of like a
Yeah.
killer moth you don't want to meet on a bad
Well,
day.
Yeah, it's kind of like a cross between a moth,
A
an
wasp?
insect. Yeah, it looks like an insect and a dragon, I suppose.
Yeah.
A dragony insect.
And
At the moment, it's attacking our 3D boats. In the...
I really like the design. Do you like the design? It's kind of like a purpley
Yeah, I mean some of the
crazy thing.
Some of the creatures that you have that they create in these Japanese kaiju TV series and films can be a little bit outlandish.
Yeah.
I mean, you only have to watch something like
Ultraman,
and they're like crazy. So yeah, I mean that's kind of believably good.
and it looks mean.
It does look.
It looks mean.
So does that breathe fire?
It deliberately goes after Godzilla to absorb
His energy.
all of his energy. As soon as he does absorb some of Godzilla's energy with his kind of tail spike,
Oh no, he's not. It sounds a bit.
puncturing Godzilla's hide.
It sounds a bit kinky. This.
Anyway, he can then shoot fireballs.
All right, he shoots fireballs.
Yes.
Okay.
The two fight.
Yep.
Godzilla does a lovely body slam on him. I'm sure you've seen clips.
No, I probably have, but you know.
It's hilarious. The fight, you know what? It's all right. It's all right. I enjoyed it. It was
Is this
unique.
the finale fight? Is it?
Yes. Surprisingly, about 10 minutes before the end of the movie.
All right.
It feels like there's a distinct
So
chunk.
it's not like a Hammer horror movie then.
No.
Where they suddenly finish right on the
Yep, the end. Bye.
end. The Wolfman is dead.
The end.
The end.
No, it seems to go on for a bit after Megaguirus is actually killed by Godzilla.
Okay.
Now, what happens then is the fact that this satellite that's shooting the black holes.
Oh right, it's I thought it was a cannon. Right, so
Well, it was a cannon, and then
they put it in space now.
yeah, to kind of get a good shot.
This cannot go wrong, can it?
No.
They're shooting black holes basically at the Earth.
Yeah.
Nothing. What a brilliant plan.
It's crashing down to Earth.
Yeah.
So they've got to get this. They've got to get it spot on this shot.
Yeah.
And it works.
Oh no! That means what happens to Godzilla?
So supposedly, Godzilla has actually been
Zapped off.
into a
It's been sucked off into a black hole.
in the end. And it's like, whew, but we can't do that again. That was our only satellite that could do that.
Right, and that's buggered now.
But there is mention at the end
Yep.
that a new Godzilla,
Uh-huh.
another Godzilla, a Godzilla of some form, it could be the same Godzilla, maybe it's just hiding under the rubble or something,
Okay.
has come back.
Because Godzilla technically isn't the same Godzilla. Because obviously in the first movie, Godzilla gets killed.
Yeah.
So, you have kind of Godzillas and then...
There's the potential for more Godzillas. That's the end note of the original movie, that there could be more.
Because when you watch Godzilla movies, Godzilla isn't always just Godzilla, is it?
Mhm.
It's like another incarnation of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Of that creature.
Yeah.
Or the strain.
Mm.
I don't know. Anyway.
Depends on the era of the franchise. It could be an irradiated dinosaur. It could
so
be...
that was our 2 movie roundup.
So, comparing those 2 films,
Yep.
Ebro of the Deep and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, I would say those looking for some traditional
Yep.
Godzilla vibes.
Yeah, some good old rumbunctious, doesn't quite make sense, but it's a hell of a lot of fun.
I would probably kind of edge towards Ebra.
Yep.
But if you're looking for something a bit more outlandish, something that's new, that you haven't seen before, I would go for the Megaguirus.
Yep.
That's up to you.
Well, you got to remember, you got your good old traditional Godzilla.
Yeah.
Man
And then you've got early 2000s
You got-
sci-fi
yeah.
awesomeness.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
But with Godzilla versus Ebra, the suit that Godzilla is the suit that the guy's wearing has got the cracking eyeballs and everything. It's one of the sort of comedy Godzilla suits. It's this one.
Oh, that's savage. That is savage. Whereas the suits in obviously the 2000s look a lot better.
They're a lot more sci-fi horror. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's our 2 roundup.
But there's more.
There's more.
What are we going to talk about?
Well, the thing is, there must be new things happening.
New things happening. It's a good time to be a Godzilla fan.
Yay!
So, for Godzilla Day
this
year, they are bringing out the short films Godzilla vs. Megalon, which is an animated short film, and Godzilla Operation Jet Jaguar, which is a live-action short film.
And you have a Jet Jaguar in the studio.
I do have a Jet Jaguar in the studio today.
What did he say?
Jet Jaguar, Jet Jaguar, Jet Jaguar.
I always get him mixed up with Ultraman.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get a
He's a
musical
robot,
number.
isn't he?
He is a robot.
Ultra-
Or in Germany, King Kong in a robot suit.
Wait, let's not even go there.
So I showed you the trailers for
you
the
did.
short films.
Yeah.
What did you think of Godzilla vs. Megalon for a start?
I thought it looked fantastic. Oh, very short.
30-second trailers. Really short.
Really short.
I mean, these are short films that
But
are
they
only
look-
going to be like
Are
10
these
minutes
the
long.
same kind of as... Did they do one last year with my favourite monster, Gigan?
Yes, that was Godzilla vs. Gigan Rex.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool. So they're like,
I liked that, but I wasn't overly fond of how it suddenly went into kind of really abstract anime stuff.
okay, yeah, fair enough. But anyway, these,
But I enjoyed it.
These look fun. And how long are the actual movies themselves?
I don't know, like 10 minutes or so.
They're real shorts. They're real shorts.
But the animated one, I like Megalon as a character.
Yep.
And to be honest, I hope they don't go as crazy as they did with Gigan, because the design looks pretty menacing, pretty menacing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, so they looked fun, but they're just 10 seconds. I can't really say much about them.
Of the two, I think I'm vying more towards the Jet Jaguar one, and that's the live action one.
Okay.
Because it's got the 2004 Godzilla suit from Godzilla Final Wars versus Jet Jaguar, and there's a really impressive shot of
Man in a suit, not a monkey.
Yes, Jet Jaguar kicking Godzilla in the face. It's like a giant
he does
flying
a flying
kick,
sidekick.
which is actually quite impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I actually wonder a lot about what the kind of backstory to it could be, because the last live action one was Godzilla vs. Hedorah, and I'm not sure. I guess the anti-Godzilla forces of Japan are going to kind of...
I don't know. We can just speculate.
Yeah, that's what's the point of this. That's the point of this.
But that's not the only new stuff.
It's not the only new stuff.
I want to come back to what we spoke about earlier.
I was talking about what's coming out on Godzilla Day, and that is the Friday, the day after this podcast comes out.
Okay. But we already have, or just about now, sometime around, Godzilla Minus One.
Godzilla Minus One.
I want to know what the minus.
So that is the latest Godzilla movie coming out, which is exciting.
I have seen the trailer, and it looks big and wide, amazing. There was a beep there.
Was that a beep?
Yeah, that was a beep.
Okay.
Let me say that again. It looks beep amazing.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks a big improvement on Shin Godzilla.
I'll tell you, oh God, Shin Godzilla. I'm sorry. I know some people love Shin Godzilla. I don't know why. It's a boggly-eyed fish monster.
Yeah, you could have called it any other name and it would have been fine.
Yeah, for me, it's like a. It's like a Matthew Broderick Godzilla movie.
Whoa, don't be harsh on the Broderick one, okay? I like it. It's the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, but it's better than Shin Godzilla, in my opinion.
The Shin Godzilla.
If you think differently, please let us know.
Shin Godzilla just doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just a fish monster. Fish monster comes out the sea, goes down a canal, has boggly eyes.
To be fair, to be frank on that movie,
You're going to be frank.
the best part of that movie,
I'll be earnest.
the best part of Shin Godzilla
Be
is
frank and earnest.
probably Shin Godzilla when he's fully evolved.
Yeah. Well, he looks like Godzilla. Apart from he's got piddly little arms.
And has a weird opening mouth.
Well, it looks like they've just taken
I
the Blade
found
2.
the human story of Shin Godzilla really boring.
It was.
Really
I
boring.
think some people that watch it, maybe they're into the drama.
Which is why Godzilla Minus One looks really exciting.
Oh, that looks kick-ass, proper kaiju monster. Good. I mean, this is like ranks it up 11 plus.
I did find out some really, really good information based on
because this is what we want to know. So Now We Know show.
And that
I wanna
is,
know.
it's getting a UK cinema release.
Woohoo!
And that is coming out on December the 15th.
Right, we're going. That's going to be another Christmas movie then.
Yes.
All they need to do is to have some Christmas decorations somewhere in the movie, and it's the latest Christmas movie.
So it's set in post-war Japan.
Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Anyway, it's set in post-war Japan.
Oh, is this because it's before Godzilla?
Yes.
Is that why it's -1?
Okay, so lots of people
Speculating.
have been speculating about this, and I think the -1 is a reference more towards the fact that it's set before the original.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
So it's like -1 year, or this is a Godzilla -1. Like if you had Doctor Who, William Hartnell, and then you had a prequel Doctor Who before William Hartnell, he'd be Doctor Who -1.
Well, you've got the Zeroth Doctor.
Yeah.
That's supposedly Joe Martin.
Yeah, well, that sounds more like a kind of some kind of copying machine.
Xerox. Yeah. The trailer seems to insinuate the fact that Japan has obviously lost World War II, but then loses again because Godzilla's attacking and is causing maximum destruction.
It looks fantastic.
It does.
It does. Fantastic. I'm really hyped up for this movie, so I'm really.
It looks really cool. Do you think it's going to have any other monsters in it?
Oh, it's got to have.
Because it doesn't show anything else.
Yeah.
But I would really like it to, much like Godzilla 2000, where you didn't expect it to have Auger in it, which was that kind of UFO spaceship monster creature.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because obviously with the original Godzilla, Godzilla is all you need. Yeah. It's all you need, but it's a statement. It's what it is. This one, maybe they can go back to just having Godzilla against the Japanese, what's left of the Japanese military type of thing.
Yeah, there's that really impressive shot of Godzilla chasing like a really small boat, and he's shooting a Bren gun at it, like.
That might be all it needs to be. We will find out. However, that's not the only new Godzilla stuff. You've mentioned the new short movies. You've mentioned Godzilla -1.
Well, we've got loads of stuff. We've got loads of stuff to talk about. One more thing on Godzilla -1.
Come on then.
There is a brief shot of one of Godzilla's dorsal plates.
Yep.
On his tail. Suddenly.
Oh yeah, it pops out like an axe.
Like an axe.
Yep. That's pretty cool.
What do you think that's about?
That's what you just said it.
Yeah, but what do you think it's about? What's happening? Is Godzilla evolving like Shin Godzilla?
No.
Is he just charging up his atomic breath?
If you want my opinion on that one, it's going to be.
Is he mutating? Come on.
I think it's going to be something like, because that shot was also, he looked like he was in the sea.
I think he might have been on land.
Are you sure?
Yeah. There's a lot of shots of him in the sea and on land.
Okay. Well, maybe in the trailer.
He was very specific to the tail.
Yeah, maybe it went too quick. I thought he was still in the sea. What I was going to say is maybe there's something like a big aircraft carrier or something that's got big guns, and it's kind of is giving him a pounding, boom, 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 boom. And it's like, oh, I've had enough of this. Whap, out comes the extra tail spike, or the Thagomizer as is known. Reference to Stegosaurus. And he just goes, and they don't expect that, and so it gets it, and it whack, and then just chops the ship in half.
I'd be good with that. I'd be good with that.
Something like that. Or slices buildings.
That
in
is
half.
the thing with this particular design of Godzilla. The dorsal plates are very pronounced, as opposed to other ones where they're kind of
a bit more
dulled
subdued.
down a bit. Yeah,
a bit more Stegosaurus.
And I like it.
Yeah, they can keep going that little bit further over the top of the dorsal plates.
So we in the UK get to look forward to Godzilla -1 on December the 15th, and that is directed by Takashi Yamazaki. Spelt Zaki, as in me.
There you go, Zaki.
I didn't direct it, but I'd like to.
In spirit, maybe. But
that's not it. We've got two more things to talk about.
Well, there's one that comes to my mind, which I also saw the trailer on.
What's that?
Which is the Godzilla the
Monarch Legacy of Monsters TV series, which is available on Apple TV.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Apple TV.
No, but the trailer looks really cool.
It looks really good, and it has Kurt Russell in it. Yeah, good old Kurt Russell. He's a good old boy.
So what
Plissken's in it.
What did you think of that? It's obviously connected to the legendary series of Godzilla films. So that would include Godzilla 2014, Godzilla King of Monsters, Kong Skull Island.
Well, it means obviously they could bring the
what's it called? Godzilla versus Kong, that's it.
Well, they can obviously bring the Mutos into it. They're Mutos?
Mutos, yeah.
Mutos into it.
Massive unidentified terrestrial organism.
And obviously they did have some other weird kind of ones in the further movie, didn't they? When they were all sort of being controlled by
King
Ghidorah.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get to.
You saw a bit of them.
Didn't really get to see much of them, so they could feature more.
I think they are. You've got some kind of like bat flappy thing.
Flappy bat thing.
Yeah, and you got those like eggs. Do you remember those eggs in that trailer?
Oh yes, that
like
seemed to be
insect type things.
Yeah, they seem to be in an exhausted core of a nuclear power plant. So obviously they just suddenly hatched, didn't they, in the trailer? And they went like, "Get out of here now! Get out!"
So obviously it's set between the 2014 one.
Well, there was a little clip of the
San Francisco attack in the 2014
Japanese, or I'm assuming she was a Japanese girl who's looking for her father, and they showed a clip of her being on the San Francisco bridge
as Godzilla
goes through, which obviously she wasn't in the original movie. What they've done is they've shown bits of the original movie and then spliced her in on the bridge, type of thing. So obviously it's set in that.
It's going to be an interesting thing.
Oh no, Jet Jaguar's fallen onto he's taken a dive onto the floor of the studio.
Please don't break him. He's very collectible and very expensive.
How much is he worth then?
A lot of money.
Oh,
At least 50 quid.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So don't drop him on the floor like you just did.
Sorry, Jet.
Oopsies.
Anyway, back to Apple TV.
Apple TV. It's a 10-part series,
Yep.
so it's not a short one.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. I'd like to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. That's the first thing.
So what's presented from the series is the fact that it looks like Monarch's kind of a bad guy, as the organisation is kind of presented in an almost negative light.
Well, that was from the perspective in the trailer of the girl who's searching for her father, and I think that she gave over the impression that Monarch's kind of some kind of clandestine secret organisation that she wants to get her revenge on because of her father went missing. But then later on in the trailer, Kurt Russell seemed to ask her to join up with them in order to save humanity. So I think maybe that's the journey. She journeys to try and find out what Monarch is, what it's all about, and wreak a revenge for whatever happens to her father, to only discover that actually they're the good guys, and so then she's on board.
And they're protecting the world from giant monsters.
Kaiju.
We do see briefly a shot of what looks like one of the entrances to the Hollow Earth. Do you reckon we're going to be venturing into the Hollow Earth in the series?
Well, if they're going to obviously they'll make it a series. I'm saying if they're going to, they have. Then you're going to have to introduce that, because they introduced that with Godzilla versus Kong anyway, and obviously also with when it was King Ghidorah, because Godzilla was down in the ocean, wasn't he, in the Hollow Earth, when it gets rebooted with the nuclear.
Yeah, they blow up a nuke in his face.
Yeah, blow a nuke and then he's fine. But so yeah, it's an unquestionably going to be in there. It's got to be.
I think I have trouble with now with streaming services is the fact that these things are always padded out to be these 10-part series, whereas they could have just been a movie. Do you think it's going to go down like Marvel, like with all these other series they're doing, that it's just going to be first episode, something happens, then the rest of the episodes until the last one is just going to be filler?
God knows. I mean, to be honest with you, Zach, the thing with these streaming services, you got the big ones like Amazon and Netflix. Disney, I don't think they're doing too well for themselves at the minute.
Well, that's why they're bringing out Prey and stuff on physical media now.
But then, okay, so they're ones I consider to be the big ones. Yeah. And then you have the like next down the line, like the Paramount and stuff. But then you hear of the ones like Hulu. Apple TV is one that I don't even really think about particularly. I don't know how big Apple TV is. They've obviously got money to be able to produce a series like that. But it is a bit annoying because there are so many of these streaming services that for the poor old punter like us who wants to watch things, it does make it very difficult when you don't get access to it. However, I think there is possibly light at the end of the tunnel, because some of these exclusives, let's say, to streaming services, whether they be movies or series. So the first one that comes to my head is they did Peacemaker series, you know.
Yeah, they did.
And you can go and buy it now.
Yeah.
And some of these exclusive films that were always exclusive, like Prey.
Especially Prey. Hellraiser.
That you didn't think you were going to get to see. They've gone, now. You can get them on 4K.
Mandalorian, WandaVision, Loki, they're all coming out on physical media.
Yeah, so I think, as we have always touted, physical media is king.
Yeah.
It's the best thing that you can have, physical media. It beats streaming hands down, even though a lot of people will argue with that. It would seem that the streaming companies have taken on board the fact that, yes, they stand to make a lot more money, because once they release it, all those people that don't subscribe to their service get the opportunity to buy into it.
Precisely.
So
Precisely.
there is hope.
Yes.
So if one doesn't have access to Apple TV, there's always hope that they will release it.
But there's more. There's more than just the shorts.
Okay, there's one more
The
thing.
movie, the TV series. There's also, funnily
Come on,
enough,
hit me with it.
another movie.
Okay, another
Next
movie.
year.
Next year.
Next year, we're getting Godzilla X Kong, the
Oh,
New
yes,
Empire.
of course we are, aren't we? I forgot all about that.
I know. I know.
That's where don't we have like a Hollow Earth army of Kongs with axes?
This is very open to speculation because all we've had is a teaser trailer of kind of like an orangutan-like King Kong sitting on a throne, roaring, and it then like goes across this kind of Hollow Earth setting to two skulls of Godzilla and Kong, and then they both roar.
Oh, right.
And that's all we get.
Okay.
But that's an entire movie that's coming out next year.
A legendary again, yeah?
Yep, legendary. Continuing that.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So there we go. That's like...
What do you expect from it?
Right, okay, I'm going to be honest.
How could they top
No, I'm going to...
Godzilla vs. Kong?
But I'm going to be honest with you, right? Legendary Godzilla, when we first saw that... who's the actor that was in that who first goes to the government to ask for permission to go to Skull Island?
Oh, you're talking about the
Guy who was the dad in The Borrowers.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
No, he wasn't the dad.
Wasn't he the dad?
No, he was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy.
He was the bad guy in The
I
Borrowers.
can't think of the actor's name.
Something Goodman?
Oh, John Goodman.
John Goodman,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, so, in fact, didn't he flash up in...
The Monarch Legacy of Monsters.
Yeah. So when you had that was kind of... take this as with a little bit of tongue-in-cheek. When it comes to a kaiju movie, it was a realistic attempt at having a kaiju movie.
Yeah.
With Godzilla. And then when you had Kong Skull Island, it was, again, a realistic... Because obviously he was in there again.
Yeah.
A realistic kind of... realistic on the... It's totally fantasy and everything, but a realistic approach to it. But the movies have progressively become more outlandish.
Yeah.
You know? I'm going to quote what you just said. You just said, how can it be bigger?
Bigger.
You know? And I don't think they need to go bigger. Because the trouble is, when they start to try and go bigger...
Like Marvel.
It gets more and more complicated and more and more outlandish and more silly.
Alien, yeah.
Well, it becomes out of control and silly for the filmmakers to try and control this universe that they're in. And so, when you had Godzilla vs. Kong, it was a good movie. I really enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah.
But it started to become, again, outlandishly over the top.
You mean like... I think what you're saying there is the Hollow Earth. The Mechagodzilla stuff, that was fine.
Yeah, Mechagodzilla was
but
okay.
The Hollow Earth stuff was kind of the most
I'm going to be
out there.
I'm going to be picky here because, let's be honest, I know you could be talking about that we are watching a movie, and this is one of the sort of tropes that they love in movies these days, probably mostly brought on by things like Marvel, and that is the multiverse. So, you could be looking at the multiverse where planet Earth doesn't have a molten core. Yeah, but we live on a planet that has a molten core, and we live on a crust, a very thin crust on that magma. And so when you take that into consideration, you think you've gone to the centre of the Earth and it's hollow Earth and there's all of these chambers in the middle of the Earth and all the rest of it is really stupid. And yet they still show things like volcanoes going off and stuff with magma, you know? And so if they'd had the hollow Earth, I say the thin crust, the crust is pretty thick. I don't know how many kilometres the Earth's crust is, but if you could have a series of tunnels and cave systems and things within the crust, you didn't have to go to the centre of the Earth. You know what I mean? It was just like they had to go through this only the kaiju could survive going through this kind of gravitational warp to get into the Hollow Earth. Yeah, and they built those ships,
the heaves,
to manage to get through that thing. And then Godzilla blows a hole in Hong Kong, like within like a minute, all the way to the centre of the Earth. Okay, where the hollow. I mean, he's got to know exactly the direction to get to the right place. Burns a hole all the way down there, and then within 30 seconds, King Kong has zipped up this hole and jumped out. It's just
time jump.
Oh.
I mean, come on! It's a film about a giant dinosaur versus a giant monkey. What are you expecting?
I know, but what I'm saying is as far as you can have realism in an overtop kind of movie with kaiju, it kind of gets. It's been getting a little bit more stupid in places.
Yeah.
So when you say, how can they make it bigger? It's just, I just have this fear that it's going to go silly. Start going more down the silly.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, we're going to suddenly have Godzilla has got to fight against, who's the bad guy in the new movie? Oh, this orangutan, okay. Suddenly they're going to have some kind of fight, but the orangutan grabs Godzilla and King Kong and bounces to the moon, and then they suddenly have a moon fight and find out that there's a hollow moon that's got other kaiju living.
I mean, they have gone to space before in Godzilla movies. Invasion of the Astro Monster.
Yeah, okay, but
they went to Planet X.
It's just
behind Jupiter. I don't think they're going to go to the moon.
Are they going to go back to the Hollow Earth again?
Yeah, I think it's going to be more Hollow Earth based.
With the big monkeys. Is that a monkey?
That's actually a really good scene from Kong Skull Island.
Kong Skull Island. And when you mix the proper good action with a believability in the universe that you're watching, with good actors, and you stick that good music in there, that's the recipe for success. So I just hope that they keep it under control. Yeah, and don't go too OTT.
So, of these new things we've talked about, maybe the new movies, just the new movies, Godzilla Minus One, Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, which of the two are you more looking forward to?
Do you know, after seeing the Godzilla Minus One trailer, I'm actually really intrigued on that one. I'm going to say that spiked my interest a little bit more than the legendary one.
Yeah, for me, I am happy. I'm excited for all of it. I can't get enough of Godzilla.
Yeah, I can get that. But if I can sum it up, I would say legendary. I'm worried I'm going to get more of the same. No, not worried that it's more of the same, but it is going to be more of the same. And I like the same. Don't get me wrong, I like it. But Godzilla Minus One is fresh and new. Different. Yeah, it's different. So if they could stick with legendary, could make it new, stick with the same universe, the same world, but make it new and fresh. You know, they didn't have to have King Kong in it. You know, what you can do, have King Kong in every subsequent movie from this moment onwards, and have more gorilla monsters or something. I mean, you can literally go back to the good old Godzilla storyline and just, a few years have gone by, but we've got a new kaiju on the scene for some reason. And we need Godzilla to defend the Earth against it, you know? I
mean, I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with that.
You know, you don't have to keep just following the same, unless it is all you want to do is get your Godzilla and your King Kong fans bums on seats.
So what I think is the fact that Godzilla Minus One, Toho really needs to score a winner on that one. Because their last effort, and to be honest, the Netflix animated movies that we haven't mentioned in this podcast yet, Shin Godzilla had a portion of the fandom that really enjoyed it. But there also seemed to be a lot of people that didn't like it.
Yep.
Us included. What I think to really kickstart like another kind of wave of Godzilla movies from Toho, which I believe they are trying to do, what I think really needs to happen is that Godzilla Minus One needs to be a winner. It needs to be a really good movie. Well, and from what it looks like, it looks that way. It looks good.
I've got good hopes. Yes. And there you go. So, That's our roundup for Godzilla Day 2023.
I know, it's been fun. It's
It's fun. We've learnt a whole load of new stuff because there's a whole load of new Godzilla stuff on the
What
scene.
a time to be a Godzilla fan.
It is a fantastic. And if you're not a Godzilla fan, you need to be a Godzilla fan.
Yes.
Because Godzilla is cool. A bit like bow ties. Although we're rounding off now, we mustn't forget.
What?
We've got one other thing that we do.
What's that?
We need to choose what our special
Flashback episode topic is going to be.
So
this is for exclusive episodes which are available to our patrons and YouTube members.
I have the
Hat of Mystery.
Sherlock Holmes, his very own Deerstalker, but I'm going to give it to you because I haven't chosen out the hat for a while. And in fact,
Maybe Jet Jaguar should help you.
yeah, we got Jet Jaguar in the studio as our special guest. Hello, Jet. Do you want to give us a hand? Of course I do. Does he talk?
No, not really. He just kind of goes.
All right. Would you give us a hand? Thank you very
No,
much.
not.
Jet.
It's.
All right. Anyway, he's sign languaging me that he wants to go. And he's in the hat.
Head first in the hat.
He's having a rummage in there.
Oh, no, I don't think I should look at this.
He's having a rummage in there. He's pulled one out. He's got it between his teeth. There you go. Thank you, Jet. I'm going to put you back over there, safe, where I can't get my human oils on him. Because he's a...
Or drop him on the floor.
Yeah, we don't do that. Anyway.
Yep.
Episode 3.
Oh, is that? That can't be. Is that zombies?
Zombies.
Oh, that's actually quite opportunistic, isn't it?
Considering it's Halloween.
It is
that we're
Halloween.
recording this session on, yeah.
That's quite a fun one to flashback to.
So, flashback will be zombies.
Zombies.
Yeah, I see they haven't done that in Godzilla. They haven't had a zombie. Godzilla versus the zombies.
The zombies.
Or it could be like a giant zombie
Thing.
kaiju.
Yeah, well, they did plan to have Ghost Godzilla at one point. It was kind of being like a ghost kind of
Godzilla. Casper, the friendly Godzilla.
Godzilla versus the Casper Ghost.
Casper Ghost. Anyway, there we go. We have it. We've sorted it. Godzilla Day. Everybody out there, you enjoy yourselves.
Happy Godzilla Day, everyone.
Happy Godzilla Day. Go watch your favourite Godzilla movies.
Tell us what you watched. We'd love to know.
Or if you've never, ever looked into some of the Godzilla stuff, have a deeper look into it. There's plenty of enjoyment to be had.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please like and subscribe to this channel and comment below any suggestions of topics or activities you'd like to listen to in future episodes.
That's a big trying to dodge the black holes as Zak shoots them at me from across the studio. Whoa.
From space.
Yes. Goodbye from Buzz.
And that's a big dodging fireballs fired from Buzz.
Hey.
Goodbye from Zak. Jet Jaguar, Jet Jaguar, Jet Jaguar.
We need to finish off with a roar. Roar. I can't do it. Godzilla.
Shionk.
Goodbye.
You can find the Now We Know Show podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Keep up to date with everything ZWP on Facebook and Instagram, or visit the Zak Wylde Productions website at www.zakwyldeproductions.com. And remember to join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access content and exclusive episodes.